What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns here. Gonna talk about Australia because the big question everyone is asking, has Grand Theft Auto 5 been banned in Australia? The short answer to that question is no, it hasn't. But I can understand if you thought so, because Australia is very strict when it comes to rating video games, and a number of them over the years have been banned, like South Park Stick of Truth, Saints Row 4, just to name a few. Now, there were games that were previously banned, like Mortal Kombat in 2011, Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas, Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto 4, all previously banned, but came back later with a slightly more watered-down version of the game, and they were unbanned and given really extreme ratings like R 18 plus or MA 15 plus. So yeah, I mean, I can understand why a lot of people thought that Grand Theft Auto 5 might have been banned in Australia, but no, it's just pulled from two chain stores, which include Target and Kmart, both Australian chains down in Australia, following a petition signed by a feminist organization with several thousand signatures in regards to a video, I believe, done by Garrett over at Jobless Gamers. He talked about it over the weekend on the Squadcast with the Saints fan and Mr. Boss of the Win. And basically the video was in first person, him with a prostitute, well, his character with a prostitute. After the services were rendered, much like in Grand Theft Auto history, he got his money back, well, the old-fashioned way. And this feminist organization took exception to that, and they used it as a rallying cry to get petitions signed, and of course convinced the Target and Kmart chains in Australia to pull Grand Theft Auto 5 from their shelves. Now, in response to Grand Theft Auto 5 being pulled off the shelves of Target and Kmart in Australia, Carl Slatoff, the CEO of Take-Two, which is the parent company of Rockstar, the makers of the Grand Theft Auto series, had this to say, and I think he pretty much hit the nail on the head. Quote unquote, "It's one thing for someone not to buy a piece of content, which is completely understandable, and it's really the solution. If you don't like it and it's offensive to you, then you don't have to buy it. But for a person or a group of people to try to make that decision for millions of people, Rockstar and Take-Two have had 34 million people buy Grand Theft Auto 5. And if these folks, this organization that had the game pulled from the shelves of Target and Kmart in Australia had their way, none of us gamers would be able to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 or any other video game. Where does it stop? I mean, I'm ad-libbing here. I'm adding to the discussion. Continuing, and that really just flies in the face of everything that free society is based on. It's the freedom of expression, and to try and squelch that is a dangerous and slippery slope to go down. So it's really more disappointing for us in that regard than it is in the context of our business. Our business is going to be completely unaffected by this. It doesn't make a difference to us. At the end of the day, though, it's just not something you want because it's a poor leadership decision, quote unquote. Very good points, in my opinion, made by the CEO of Take-Two, which of course is the parent company of Rockstar, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I think that it's dangerous to go in and bully companies and stores like Target and Kmart to pull a product off their shelf like Grand Theft Auto 5, and if they had their way this time, then the sky's the limit. Eventually they may start pulling movies off their shelves, maybe TV shows or books. Where does the censorship end? And it should be pointed out, just like he mentioned in his quote, that over 30 million people have bought Grand Theft Auto 5. And you don't see over 30 million people across the world carrying out violence against women based on a video game. You don't see over 30 million people committing crimes, jacking cars, robbing banks, carrying out heists because of a video game. You don't see over 30 million people throughout the world committing mass murder because of a video game. It would have been one thing if Target and Kmart in Australia chose on their own to pull the game from their shelves or to not even have Grand Theft Auto 5 in their stores to begin with, but they were bullied by this organization, which is against bullying and violence. The point I'm trying to make here is that I'm completely against violence. I'm completely against violence against women or anyone else in general. I am all about self-defense, but at the same time, you cannot blame a video game or a movie or a TV show or a book or a graphic novel or a comic or an ancient Shakespearean play as the cause and culprit for domestic violence or crime or violence in general. It's the individual that commits those acts that should be held accountable. In conclusion, I'm all about equality, but sometimes it just seems like some groups out there want just a little bit more than equality. Anyways, that's enough of my political soapboxing for today. If you're interested in more of my political rants, I do have another YouTube channel linked via the featured section. Anyways, if you found the video informative and you agree with my points, as well as those of the CEO of Take-Two, be sure and hit the like button and let me know what your thoughts are regarding this issue in the comments section below. Check out my channel for awesome content 7 days a week. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button because each and every subscription really does help my gaming channel grow. And as always, thanks for watching.